Welcome and good evening to Chasing the Facts. I'm your host, Sam Chase, and tonight our show is going to be focused on the annual July 4th parade that we have in Chelmsford. And with us this evening we have Paige Gilet, who is chair of the parade committee, and Kirk Marshall, who is also on the parade committee, and so we're going to talk about that. So before we get into that, why don't we just get a little bit of bio information from the both of you. Our viewers seem to enjoy that kind of thing, so we'll start with Paige.
Yep, my name's Paige Gilet. I grew up in Chelmsford High School graduate of 2010.
That hurts.
I work at Red Mill Graphics, that's owned by my father, Bernie Gillette, in Chelmsford. My whole family hasn't left Chelmsford, and yeah, I love to be a part of this committee as a fellow townie, and happy to be here.
That's great. Kirk?
And I'm Kirk Marshall. I graduated in 1982. Maybe that doesn't hurt as bad.
Yeah, it still hurts, but not as badly. Great.
I'm a Chelmsford resident. I own a business here in Chelmsford, and I am very involved in some committees in town, as well as the Chelmsford Business Association. And the parade committee is one of my big joys. I like working on this committee and helping to put together this great parade every year.
Well, that's great. And also for the benefit of our viewers, and at some point maybe we can get a close-up shot, but both of you are wearing parade committee shirts. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And the tradition, I guess, is you have a different design every so often. It changes, which is why we have two different designs. I think I might have three shirts in my closet, representing the various years.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very colorful.
Mm-hmm.
And so why don't we talk a little bit about the parade itself and really how it got started in earnest. Now, we can go back 50 and 60 years and we can find that we had 4th of July parades in Chelmsford. But for me, the kickoff point for the really the activity level that we have now started with the 350th celebration in 2005. And at that point, I think that's when the current iteration of the parade committee got started. So why don't we talk just a little bit about that, if you guys can give me some background information and maybe talk a little bit about the July 3rd activities that precede it. So.
Sure.
Mm-hmm. So 2005 kind of started this group mainly of who we have on the committee today. It's all like volunteer work, and I think that each year most of this group puts on a great parade with all these different acts and bands, and it's just continued to grow. I remember growing up in Chelmsford, and the 4th of July parade is something that we always looked forward to. Maybe you never know who really is in charge of it on the back end, so being here and seeing the history of it is really special. So the July 3rd events is run by the Chelmsford Lions Club, and it kind of creates a full experience between the 3rd and the 4th parade, and it's a really, really great time for the town, and something that everybody looks forward to.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and to echo what Paige is saying, I mean, really back in 2005, I believe that was the year when this group got together. Rick Romano, Jeff Hardy, Lynn and Chuck Marcella, Brian and Karen Reddy, many, many volunteers I might be missing now. But these people are the heart and soul of the parade committee. They've been doing it for years. They run a fantastic parade. So members like Paige and I that have recently joined within the last 3 to 5 years, we have really good examples to follow. So kudos to them. The parade committee is always looking for volunteers because there's a lot that takes place. So it's always nice to have new faces at the table each year. So as our older members decide, it's time to move on, we have somebody to step up and go. July 3rd event is beautiful down at the Common, as everybody knows, as that country fair. It really gets the town amped up for the celebration and the parade the next day, and it really brings everything together. So the 3rd down at the town Common leading into the 4th of July parade is really special.
Yeah, and that's very good. Thank you, for both of you. I think that's very good background. Relative to the parade committee itself, though, and you talked a little bit about the volunteers, it's the only committee in the town that I know of where the membership is unlimited. So if 30 people were to show up and want to be on the parade committee, they probably could all serve. And the committee itself is appointed for 1-year terms by the town manager, and all comers are welcome. You know, and they can join at any time. And we have picked up a few new members in the last couple of years.
We have, and to kind of jump on that too, yes, there are the parade committee, and we meet monthly, and now that we're in crunch time, we're going to be meeting every 2 weeks right up until the parade. But on parade day is another opportunity for people to volunteer. They don't necessarily have to be part of the committee, but they could let us know, geez, I would like to help with the parade, and we could find something for them to do.
And they get a shirt.
And they get a shirt, and we have a little party afterwards to celebrate
That's right.
all our volunteers and their accomplishments.
That's right. It's just amazing to me. Let's see, I've been on this is my either 3rd or 4th year. I think my wife talked me into it. And what you both have said, it's just amazing. The group is amazing. And of course, Paige won't talk about herself, but this is the go-to person here.
Yes,
you know.
she is.
I remember one meeting, you arrived a little late, and we were all saying, well, we're going to have to adjourn if she doesn't show up, right? So it's amazing the efforts that you've taken on, all the advertising and the printing. Let's talk a little bit about the funding and the fundraising cycle of the parade. How does that happen? Because we certainly don't want people to look at that and say, boy, that's costing the taxpayer a bundle, isn't it? Right. So what's the answer to that?
You don't.
No, it's not, right?
Yeah, you don't pay for it. Like,
That's right.
Yeah. So there's technically 3 levels of fundraising. There's the fall banners, the spring and summer banners, and then sponsorship of the day of the parade. We start selling the fall banners starting in September, and those are up from November to about May. Each banner you see on the poles is $500. This is a huge, I'd say, plus for businesses because it's $500 and you get months and months of advertising. The majority of our banners are in the Chelmsford Center just because there are more poles there, but there's so many lights that people are standing at. Lots of people walk through for the bike trail, so it's great visibility. So that's the center. There's Drum Hill, which again, you have lots of towns crossing over through Drum Hill. And then there's Vinyl Square, which this year we actually had the most banners ever being hung up in Vinyl Square.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
A lot more interest from North Chelmsford businesses. So we still have more banners to put up for the summer rounds. And yeah, so we have 2 different designs, fall, summer. Basically what we do is we reach out to all the companies that have banners up. We ask if they want to replace with a new banner, and then that helps us kind of keep with money flow in so we know where we're at when we start paying for these bands, paying for entertainment. And then there's sponsorship of day of parade. So those are red, white, and blue levels. And that is when you get banners in the parade. You get multiple pole banners across fall and spring. And then you get a lot of social media coverage and plaques and all types of different stuff. And those sponsorships start at $1,500. So all of these things are all, I'd say, over the year, collected, organized, managed. We work with the DPW closely with hanging all these banners, so thank you to them. And then, yeah, so all of these efforts throughout the year, basically, because I'm working on banner stuff and installation pretty much all year round, except for like a short time after the parade happens. But all of it goes towards throwing, this concert actually on the July 3rd, as well as all the entertainment on the 4th. And as you can imagine, prices just continue to go up for these bands and stuff. And we've kept our banner prices relatively the same, and sponsorship levels the same. And again, the coverage that you do, the visibility on the day of sponsorships is enormous. You have 20,000 plus, viewers at the parade. So to have your company in that parade, logo somewhere with the band, with your banner there, it's great visibility. We have a lot of sponsors this year of day of parade. So now we're working on day of banners, all that jazz. A lot goes into it. So it's good to have the team we have to help. And grateful for the businesses in town who have been continuous supporters of the parade, who see a true value in not only the sponsorship, but also like the parade is for fun, it's for the town, it's for the kids, you know what I mean, to celebrate the day. And it's all really just fun stuff.
It's so this is why we have Paige. Now, if you think for a minute that I could have remembered even a quarter of what she just said, forget it. Okay.
And Paige is the one that designs these beautiful banners. And she'll bring to us some prototypes, if that's the right word, past samples. We pass them around the table, we look at them. And this year's design, because it's the 250th anniversary of Lexington and Concord, we have that American flag with the 13 stars on it.
Beautiful.
And it's great, and it really enhances Central Square and Vinyl Square, and to some extent Drum Hill. When you're driving through, you see the American flags and then our banners. It's great. It's very good.
It is, and as you said, a very important part of the overall fundraising. And just from a finance standpoint, of course, when we start our meetings, we get updates from our treasurer, and the committee has accumulated a pretty substantial funds. So I don't think we're in any danger of not being able to put on a parade for the next several years, which is good.
Right, and Paige did bring up, we're both part of the Chelmsford Business Association as well. Thank you so much to the businesses in town.
Oh, absolutely.
That every year we'll write a check, we'll buy, get a banner, we'll sponsor a band. I mean, it's the businesses that really keep this going, at least the funding of this. I don't know if you remember, but it used to be raffle tickets.
Oh, I remember stuffing the envelopes and
right.
Oh yes.
The raffle tickets will get mailed out to residents. People would buy raffle tickets, and that helped fund the parade. But we don't do that anymore. What's that?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, see that?
That-
You
yeah,
learned,
that was
you
before
learned
your
something
time.
new.
Yeah, right.
You were still at Chelmsford High School.
We'd have
probably.
we'd have envelope stuffing parties.
Right.
We'd get a bunch of people to congregate somewhere up, and I can remember 50, 60 people sitting at long tables.
Wow.
And we're all stuffing.
Where'd they go? Do they want to volunteer?
Yeah,
Now?
Good question.
Why don't we have that many people?
Well, I think that was like a one-shot deal. You know,
Yeah.
you can come this one night and
Right.
that's your contribution. But
Right.
you know, again, serving on a committee is a commitment, a time frame, and so
Sure.
forth. But it's we have a good time too, and we actually feed the folks, which is
Yeah, it's not, I think it's one of the only committees I know of that gets a full meal.
yeah, right.
It's wonderful, and
So there's an attraction if you.
if you're looking, right?
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the July 3rd activities. And this year we're doing something a little bit different in terms of concert. Last year, and I think the year before, we had a concert series.
Yep, so last year we had the Concert on the Common series, which were about 4 concerts throughout the month of July, every Saturday. And our participation wasn't as high in terms of attendees for those concerts. And it was all, Chelmsford Parade Committee sponsored. It was something we wanted to try out last year. And due to the lower participation, we wanted to do something much bigger this year, just on the 3rd. So this year, we're having the Martin and Kelly band come in from Nashville, Tennessee. They're going to be starting around 5 p.m. on July 3rd, and it's going to be a concert. We have the biggest stage coming in, full sound setup. It'll be right around where the country fair is, so come on over, get some food, drinks, and then enjoy the concert. And then the Suburbanettes will be participating around 6:15 when the band goes on a break. And then the Chelmsford Community Band will be after the Nashville band this year. And then, yeah, so we really collaborated with the Chelmsford Lions as well as the other bands that are historically been there that night to kind of add this. I think what's going to be amazing to have a country concert in the Chelmsford Common. It's never been done before.
Oh, I think so.
And we're excited about it. We're all going to be there. And now it's just promoting the concert because it's new. It's not going to be your same old Chelmsford Center this year with this band in there. So we want to make sure it's out to the people. And I'll be focusing on that on social media within the next few weeks or so as we get closer to make sure everybody knows to get there at 5 because I don't know how busy or crowded it's really going to get. So we're
What time
going
do
to.
they close off the area? Do you remember?
I thought, I don't have the specific time, but I think it's at least 1 o'clock.
Yeah, it seems
It's,
like, yeah.
it's about 1 o'clock,
right.
yeah.
Because it takes them a while to set up their booths and
Right.
you know, get
For
all
the fair.
For the
Yep,
fair.
Yep,
For
for
the
the
fair.
vendors of the fair. Yep.
Right.
Yep. I know that they're full too this year. I don't think
Yes.
they have any more vendor spots.
That's
great.
amazing.
Yep.
It's wonderful.
Are they doing a dunk tank this year?
Yep. Chelmsford Police, I just saw it on social media that they're doing the Dunk a Cop. I'm doing the signs
Oh,
for them.
boy, that will
Yeah.
draw
Rookies.
that'll
Yeah.
draw tremendous interest.
Yeah. They do it in the corner.
By the
in
Red
the-
Schoolhouse?
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
That's where they typically set up shop. Yeah, hoping for more food vendors as well this year. I know that.
I'm glad that we used to do the dunk tank, and it used to be town officials. And when I was on the select board, I did it for 3 years. But my condition was, they'd call and say, well, will you do the dunk tank? And I'd do it on one condition. What's that? I have to be the first one.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to be in that water after.
All the people have been.
And it's not that the people are dirty, it's that they keep dumping chlorine in there, to make sure that, there is no
Oh, do they really?
bacteria buildup. So if you go in first, there's no chlorine. And that's why I wanted to do it first.
Wow, I didn't know that.
After the second or third person, they start chlorinating the water. And if you're in there, if you're the fifth or sixth person in there, you come out smelling like Clorox bleach.
Wow. I never knew that.
Yeah. So that's the only problem is if you're the first one in, the water is
Very cold, right? Yeah. Too funny.
But anyway, so they won't have any. I'm sure plenty of the officers will volunteer for that.
Yeah, I think you can pay for anyone to go in it. I'm not sure, but they have it on their social media page. Chelmsford Police does.
I think that's Dunk your favorite cop.
We'll have to look.
I love it. I think
Yeah.
that's, well, God love them for volunteering to do that. I think that's tremendous.
And we meet with Jason Poor. He
Yeah.
comes into our meetings just to discuss the logistics of things, safety issues. Are we checking all the boxes?
There's a lot to it, isn't there?
A representative from the fire department comes in and meets with us. And once again, we're checking off the boxes on safety and making sure everything's lined up. So we also want to thank Chelmsford Police and Chelmsford Fire.
It is, to your point, it's a cooperative effort. And the thing that always amazes me is the parade ends at noon, and I don't think we're ever off by more than a minute or two. That's the big joke, noontime, the last unit
That's right.
is coming through, which is will be you and probably my wife, right? And I guess this year I'll be the vehicle at the end, which is fine.
Right.
And that's and we'll be crossing that line at noontime.
Right, yeah, the parade starts promptly at 10.
Right.
Led by the Honor Guard
Yep.
of the Chelmsford Police Department. This year, as our hometown heroes, we are going to honor a group of Vietnam veterans for their service to our country. So it's going to be a really special parade for them. They've always marched in the parade as long as I can remember.
That's never been done. This is a first.
This is a first, and now we are going to honor this group, which they truly deserve. They go out and they march every Memorial Day in a Memorial Day parade, and unfortunately those parades aren't as well attended.
No, that's a smaller area.
So this is our chance for the town to really honor them. And then we have our parade marshal this year, George Dixon.
Yep.
So
George is former selectman, having served 16 years, and I think he is the only person to have been elected to 6 consecutive terms.
well,
Yeah, so that's a record holder, and George is a townie. You know, Dixon family's been here for 130, 140 years, something like that, and his father was well known and very active in town affairs and so forth. And George has given a lot to the town, so I think that recognition is also very well deserved. So,
yes.
And those units, as you said, they're at the front end of the parade. Hometown hero, parade marshal, police honor guard, fire, and so on and so forth. And then we get into the units. So let's talk a little bit about bands that are actually going to march in the parade. So we have a few musical units.
Yep. So they're all pretty much, it's funny, like the same bands and everything want to come back each and every year. So we've got our Canada bands, we have our, Minutemen, we have all the guys we had last year and a few extra ones this year, and we're excited about that. We got the Massachusetts Pirates football team, we got a wrestling team doing a float.
That ought to be interesting.
Yeah, so we got a float competition this year, and we're excited to see what people come up with. We've been promoting that, and a lot of businesses are doing the floats, but the basis prize, I think we said it starts at $1,500 for these companies. So we're excited to judge them and see what everybody does. They all have a theme that they submitted to us, and we're excited to see how it all goes. And each band is also, sponsored by a company. So that's why you see banners in front of the bands. Their money would go towards, the entertainment of that band. And some of them are being pulled by some local landscapers. We have some other companies we reached out to recently to use their trailers. So thank you so much to Demers, Mirror Landscaping, and a few others. We wouldn't be able to pull this parade off without participation of these companies in their efforts. And you coming with us on the 4th of July, I know it's a very busy time for vacations and stuff like that. So the fact that people are willing to come and help out the parade and make it as good as possible is so appreciated.
It's just amazing, and obviously listening to you talk, I mean, people have to understand the logistics behind trying to pull off something like this. It's not just that a bunch of people show up at McCarthy and the parade happens.
right.
I mean, it's just a tremendous amount of logistical coordination and, getting flatbeds to transport people and bull floats and all this other stuff. It's very difficult.
And then as we set that up in our parade committee meetings on all right, who's going to participate, our next meeting is going to be setting the lineup. So we set the lineup, and let's say there's 100 units in the parade, which is usually pretty close, 1 to 100. Now it's 8 o'clock in the morning, day of parade, and these 100 people.
I know what you're going to say.
These 100 groups are showing up at McCarthy.
Yep.
And then you have the antique cars. So once they get there, we have to line them up. So I've been fortunate.
Not everybody pre-registers.
Not everybody pre-registers.
Not everybody fills out a form to participate.
Right.
So then they show up with their unit, and we're like, we got to fit them in somewhere.
And they want to be in a specific spot, some of them.
That's right.
Yeah.
And then so each year, or for the last couple of years, I've had that list, and I'm the point person, so I have to start lining them up. But Chuck Marcella is in the back lining up all the floats, and then he sends them kind of up my way. Eric Lindstedt is lining up the antique cars in a specific order. And then the parade starts, and I'm okay, number 3, number 4.
It's very interesting. This year, I'm not going to be, as I said, I'll be the last thing in the parade, which makes me very happy, by the way. So Eric said he needed some help. I said, I'll help you
With the cars, right?
cars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, because some of these folks can be a little touchy.
Sensitive about their cars.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
and justifiably so.
But, well, even some of them, some of the
Yeah.
groups that are marching, say the number 50. I had one man come up to me at least 10 times. Are we next? Are we next? Are we next? I said, I'll let you know if you're next. And then there were other people
You
like
get the
negotiating.
chalk mark on your windshield, right?
Right.
50.
Yeah.
And then
there it
there are
is.
other people that are negotiating. You know, I want to go at number 30. Sorry, you know.
Well, I remember one year we had a group show up and they all wanted to be together. And we
Of
said,
cars.
Yeah, of cars.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the cars, first of all, I think that's less effective, all right, visually. But the cars really are very important, I think, because they act as spacers, right? And that's how we've done it in the last 3 or 4 years. We've used them to space out
Right.
various units, and that seems to work out very, very well. So before the parade, though, we have the kickoff event, which is the Carson
Yep, the road race.
road race. So
Yep.
we probably want to spend a minute or so talking about that.
Yeah, well, I mean, the day starts at 8 a.m. when they sing the national anthem and they raise the flag at the Common.
And who's doing that this year? Is it the police officer? Is he doing the singing?
I forget.
I don't know if
his
it's been
name.
confirmed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
we're
Yeah, I
that's
can't.
still in
I
play.
can't say for sure.
It won't be me, folks. Don't worry.
And then the Carson Road Race kicks off at 9 o'clock. As a matter of fact, I have an office over at Courthouse right behind Walmart. And as I was driving here today, they already have the start line painted on the side, nice and fresh, red, white, and blue.
Boy, they are the DPW. They are on top of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
It's just unbelievable. So the road race kicks off in that area
Correct.
and then goes down Parkhurst, right?
Parkhurst left onto North Road. And if anybody drives down North Road, they all see mile marker 1, mile
Yep.
marker 2, which again is painted across the road. It ends right in the town common. So there are some vendors still there from the country fair from the night before. And of course, there's various restaurants and attractions down in the center of town. But the runners, you know, flood the town. Some of them stay and watch the parade. I should say most of them stay and
think
watch
so,
the parade, yep, because you see everybody with their number and everything. So it's a really festive day. I mean, starting on July 3rd at 4 o'clock, I think the country fair opens up, all the way into 12 o'clock noontime, 12:30 by the end, when the parade typically ends. It's just such a
And
great
then
day
the
for
country fair
Chelmsford.
Yeah.
continues.
Yes.
Into the 4th. It does in the morning, I think.
It does.
Yeah.
Yep. And then the Chelmsford Art Society as well has stuff going on at the CCA.
That's right. That's
Yep, the
important.
Art Society, right?
The 3rd and the 4th as well. They have, I think it's like an art contest
do.
that they have. And I think there's restrooms also there that people use for the fair and go in there. But yeah, so the 3rd and 4th is country fair. I don't know what time the fair ends on Friday. I need to double check that, but
I
it's
think
like
it's
around-
typically like 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Yeah, at
After
night,
the-
yeah. Because
okay.
I used to participate in that with another group.
And
I was part of.
then we talked a little bit about the DPW. It's amazing to me because we go through this whole parade, and then typically, I don't know, 4 o'clock, 4:30 in the afternoon, I'm driving through the center,
Oh,
and there's no evidence that there was ever any
know.
parade.
Yeah.
I mean, these guys, it's just unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if Christine Clancy is out there with a bullwhip. I have no idea, but these guys, they just
they just sweep
come
it
in,
up
and it's
with
just
a-
unbelievable
Yeah.
what they do.
Last
Yeah.
year, if I remember correctly, right as the parade ended, the skies opened up.
Oh, it was unbelievable.
Torrential downpour, and I remember
Mm-hmm.
driving down North Road at 5 o'clock. Not a soul was around. All the chairs were gone,
Unbelievably, yep.
except one chair.
There you go. So we've got about 20 seconds. So folks, if it does rain,
It won't.
It doesn't rain during
Jeff
the parade.
Hardy will not let it rain.
That's
okay?
correct.
He's the guy.
Yep.
But if it does, the parade is still on.
Yeah.
Okay, just so
Correct.
that we know.
Yep.
But it's not going to rain. So we're going to hold that thought.
does.
I want to thank the both of you for coming in and talking to us about the parade, and we'll see everybody on the 4th.
Thanks for having us.